Hey everyone, welcome back to Storytime with me. Today I have a pretty awful story that has happened to me. This is 100% real and is not cool at all, but it has happened to me, and I have been hearing that a lot of women have been going through these kind of situations a lot lately, and I don't know why this is happening. So I'm here to tell you my story of what happened to me and see if maybe that brings some light to some people, like. Okay, well, this was a few years ago when I was in Brazil and I needed to get the subway every day to go to acting school. And I would get into, in the morning, I would get into quite full subway, and in the afternoon it wouldn't be so full, so I could sit down, I didn't have to stand up. So one of the afternoons that I'm going back home, I go into the subway and I'm so happy because I usually go to the ends of the train. They're usually less packed of people, so you get more options of seats and all of that. So I get into the train and I sit on the seat that had nobody around or next to. So I'm like, oh yes, I can relax, I can like breathe for a little bit until I get back home. So I'm sitting there, and in one of the stops, this guy comes in and he decides to sit right next to me. Okay, and this really annoys me when you have a full wagon of free seats and you can sit anywhere you want, and then you decide to sit right next to the only person in that train. This is really annoying. I mean, I almost felt like saying, dude, go sit somewhere else. And because I was sitting right by the window, I couldn't just stand up and move another seat easily without having to ask him to move. So I just tried to ignore it, and I sat, and usually you don't have any view to look out, but there is a window, which is weird, I know, but anyway. So I usually just like sit like this, looking at the window, and like not look at the person that's next to me. So I'm there, and I'm like just waiting for time to pass and to get to my station. And you know how the seats are quite tight, so you can kind of feel when the person next to you moves, you can feel it. So I felt that this guy was moving for quite a bit, and then eventually he stops moving, right? So I went to move and like change my legs, my crossing legs of position and stuff, and with that I got a little glimpse on the corner of my eye of what he was doing. Basically, what he'd done, he put his rucksack right in front of his knee, right there, like as if blocking the view from anyone outside from seeing what he was doing. But because I was sitting right next to him, I could see everything. Basically, what he did is he undid the zip of his jeans and he pulled his dick out, okay, and he was playing with it while staring at me. Yeah, he did not make any effort to hide it. He wanted me to know that he was masturbating while looking at me. Now, this is extremely uncomfortable, okay? Especially when the person is basically touching you, he's right next to you. So this was the most thing that has happened to me. I do not like this. Anyway, so I freaked out. I turn around, like looking back to the window, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell do I do? My stop was still far away because this was a long journey that I had to do. So I decide, you know what, next station is coming up, and I don't care. I'm gonna stand up and pretend this is my station, and I'm gonna get out, and I'm gonna look for a police person, because this is not cool. So as soon as it gets closer to the station, I stand up and I say excuse me to the guy, and I leave. Right away, as I stand up, he was still doing the situation, so he just like stared at me like kind of puzzled, why is she standing up already, kind of thing. Almost as if I was obligated to like the fact that he was doing that. So, anyway, so I stood up and I went towards the door to leave. And I was praying that he wouldn't come out of the train with me. Because if that happened, I just didn't know what I was going to do. Really didn't know. But anyways, so the station arrives and I get out. And I go straight to a police person and I say, look, I was in this line in this train and this guy did this. So I reported what happened. I don't know what happened to the guy in the end. The police person told me that they were going to get in the next station into the train and get this guy, and that they would give him a warning of what he couldn't do this, and if he did it again then he would not be allowed to ride that line. But it's like, yeah, you can maybe stop him from riding the line, but you can't stop him from doing that again. He can do it at a bus stop, in a bus, or in another line. I mean, what stops this guy, right? Just put him in jail or something. That's when he'll stop. But anyways, so that's what happened to me. It's not like major story. It's just more like a conscious awareness kind of thing. Like, we may be women in society which is still sexist, and we may be as pretty, as ugly, as skinny, as fat. I don't care. But these kind of things are not things to be done. They're not to be done by any person to any person. This is just not cool. This is not living in society. So if you think that's cool to do something like that, I'm sorry. And if you think that this is some type of cool flirting way of doing things, again, I'm sorry, but that's not the way to go. I was pretty disgusted. I mean, I did not need to see that. I did not need to feel that. It was just... Anyways, so if you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If anything like this has ever happened to you, leave me the story in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And I will see you in the next story time, funny videos. So remember, Wednesdays and Fridays with videos like this, and on Mondays occasionally with vlogs if I had time to vlog, if you get what I mean. Anyway, see you guys, bye!